Welcome to the WellPlayed DLC podcast, Australia's juiciest gaming podcast. I'm your host for this week, Zach Jackson. Joining me is Mr. Mario Kart, James Wood.
Let's a fucking go, Zach.
Adam Ryan, I got no nickname for you. Sorry.
Enough hot. Hello, I'm here.
And Ash Whaling.
I don't get a nickname either. Yeah, cheers. What up?
Well, I didn't think about it until I looked at James. I was like, you know what? This will work.
Yeah,
this will do.
Hey, Ash, try burning a bridge first, mate, and then you might get a nickname, all right?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if you are in the internal well-played Slack, you will say that at one point I did get referred to as slightly larger than average on a Friday horse.
That's very good.
I'm not a big horse. I'm a slightly larger than average horse, but only on a Friday. So
Was that me?
Absolutely. That was
Okay.
you. Are you kidding?
yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if it... Okay, yeah, of course. Horse, of course. How are we all?
Thriving.
Adam and I, if you're cold, raise your hand. There it is.
That's me.
Can we be cold?
It's Tasmania.
I'm very temperate at the moment.
I'm a bit hot.
Must be nice, James.
Yeah, get a load
It
of
is
these
nice,
guys.
Adam.
Temperate.
Alrighty. Well, we've got a big show this week because we are talking about all of the announcements and our good things we love from Summer Game Fest and the other showcases. But also, more excitingly, is Mr. James has reviewed Mario Kart World, and he will talk to us about that soon. But before we get in, no. Are we getting into that?
Well, no, I mean, I also feel like this is the first podcast post the launch of a new console. This is historically a big moment, and I think 3 of 4 of us have Switch 2s now. So that's, it's exciting, Zach.
Wait.
It is. Thank you for stealing the segue there, but I mean, we're on the same
That's
same
it.
page.
We're all on the same team here, hey?
Did you say that only 3 of the 4 of us have a Switch 2?
Why would Zach have a Switch 2?
Yeah, fuck that. I would
see.
rather play fucking rugby.
I thought you would be like, oh, I'd rather play,
Nailed that.
Troll and I'd rather play.
Well, mate, I'm fucking 5'5". I'd get
Revolution.
crushed. I would definitely much rather play a Homefront Revolution. Anyway, Switch 2.
I mean, Switch 2.
What are we thinking? What's our first thoughts, James?
I texted this to Adam, I think, on launch day, but it feels like they made a Switch for adults, and I really fuck with that.
Okay.
Beautifully designed, great new bit of hardware. Like that form factor is so sexy. It's just so good in the hands. It's got a nice finish on it. Everything just feels correct. And I thought the lack of OLED would bother me, and it's not. So I'm just, I'm doing pretty good with it.
All right, okay. So you'd bring it home to meet your parents?
Oh, absolutely, mate.
And
Put a ring on
going
it.
to play Mario Kart with them.
Yeah,
Confidently.
someone's got to play it. So.
Yeah.
Ash, what do you think of the Switch 2?
I'm with James. I mean, I've had sort of 3 separate identical conversations with 3 separate but not identical people who had a Switch 1, were interested in the Switch 2, but weren't sold on getting one. And then they find out I have one, and they go, oh, what's it like? And I go, it's a better Switch. And they go, oh, is that all? And I'm like, no, hold on. That's the glowing praise. The Switch was good, but this is the gooder Switch, and I quite like it. Like I said, it feels better. It's really just the robustness of it. The original Switch, I probably played undock for throughout its entire lifespan, probably less than 4 hours. It felt like if I was playing it undocked, it's because I couldn't dock it, and I really wanted to dock it.
Is that
It
'cause
felt
you're
small,
taking a dump?
flimsy.
Had a little flimsy ricketiness to it in the hand.
did.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, even brand new, there was angles that if you held it, there would be a creak come from where you do the Joy-Cons. I'm like, nope, don't like that. This one, solid as a rock. Really like it. Tough. I'm looking forward to it actually having a killer app that really blows me away, because I think that's the big thing. This is a good piece of console hardware. It's nice, but it hasn't really had that usual Nintendo flavor of, whoa, that's different. Apart from the mouse Joy-Cons, but We've had nice before.
All right.
What What about
Adam.
yours, friend? You got yours at a midnight launch, you crazy, crazy kid.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. It was cold in Launceston. The only thing that matters is how satisfying it is to attach the Joy-Cons and then detach the Joy-Cons.
Oh.
Mate, I ripped that box open. I didn't give a fuck about actually playing it. I just wanted to see how satisfying it was. 10 out of 10 satisfying.
Adam's like,
Fantastic.
first 6 hours with the console, absolutely top shelf, and then I turned it on.
It's about right. But no, I agree with James's sentiment. It very much is an upgraded Switch in all the ways that I would want it to be. So yeah, I'm having a great old time with it. Very nice little bit of kit.
Nice. Has anyone played anything else other than Mario Kart?
Yeah, I've played Breath of the Wild because
Okay.
I didn't ever play that when it first came out, even though that's heresy to admit. So yeah, I've been playing that. It's dealing with it exceptionally well. Like performance-wise, it's fantastic. Load times are essentially non-existent. So yeah,
You wouldn't have a point of comparison.
Yeah, that's interesting because you didn't see it running like a potato.
Yeah.
No. I've seen
You
it
didn't-
running. I've been around that game being played on an original Switch, and that is
Yeah.
part of the reason I didn't go out of my way to play it on an original Switch, because I was like, look, I'm sure it is a genre defining game, but I ain't playing that because it looks
Bro,
bad.
200 IQ play right there.
Yeah. So now, even though
Should have
it's
played
like
the long
what,
con of those 8 years.
got him. Yeah, so like
Yeah.
almost a decade later, but I still think it was worth just waiting it out and just waiting for the better hardware because I'm having a great old time.
Nice.
Mm.
Anything else? Quickly?
I've been I'm like let's say ankle deep in the Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster at the moment. So I've been fucking around with that, and I did do some GameCube stuff as well. So I'm planning on covering the NSO upgrade. That entire ecosystem is quite lovely. I want there to be more games on there, obviously, but as a foundation, they've done a pretty good job.
What have you GameCubed so far?
Wind Waker.
Nice. Yeah,
nice.
I saw that Soul Calibur 3 was on there, or 2 maybe. I don't know.
Which I did boot up, and I had a little nostalgia moment for being like, oh, there's that like hot demon dude that I had a weird feeling about when I was whatever age I was when that game came out.
Voldo.
Oh, I wouldn't know his name.
It doesn't matter. It was only one night.
People.
We didn't need names. Do you still have the same feelings, James, all these years later?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. This Pride Month on WellPlayed, we're going to have a chat about that.
Icons that didn't know they were icons, but they are icons.
I love it.
All right, before we get into the big topics this week, we'll quickly whip around the room. I don't know if anyone's played anything that we want to talk about. If you have played anything, make sure it's important. Otherwise, we don't care because we got a lot to get through. Adam, I want to start with you because you've played a preview version or the demo of Possessors.
I have, yes, and I had a fantastic time. So Possessors is the next game from Heart Machine. They did the Hyperlight series. That's what they're kind of most well known for, and Solar Ash. Not Ash Wailing, but Solar Ash. So yeah, it's like a Metroidvania puzzle platformer action game that looks fantastic. It's got 3D rendered backgrounds, but hand-drawn and animated characters, which kind of make them pop exceptionally well on those 3D backgrounds.
They're like full mesh and cutscenes as well, don't they?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's got kind of like a Hades vibe to interacting with characters where they're just kind of standing there talking at you. Yeah, it's very cool. But yeah, it's a very short demo. It's only about 45 minutes, but it's enough to get your teeth sunk into the combat and the traversal, both of which very solid. The combat is pretty deliberate, and I feel like it's going to get pretty difficult. You just have daggers and kind of a long-range weapon, and then there's a whip that you can bring people closer or bring yourself closer to them, depending on their size. So it's got that kind of Metroidvania element where, you're unlocking shit as you're getting new abilities. But the game looks fantastic. The combat, while I only got like a little snippet of it, seems like it's going in the right direction. So yeah, very pleased from what I played.
Very good.
Very,
so
very
there's
pleased.
a demo on Steam now if you want to go check that out, correct? Yeah.
Is that
Certainly
part
is.
of Next Fest?
Yeah, mate, everything's part of Next Fest. Everything's an Xbox.
Well, speaking of Next Fest, we as in Adam, Ash, and I, the other night we played the Australian-made, I don't know, like multiplayer extraction game. It's called Macabre.
Yeah.
Survival.
Horror extraction game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Standard
so this-
Australian bush experience simulator,
Yeah.
I guess.
So this is from WeForge Studio in Sydney. This game is coming to early access. I know that. I don't know if we have got a date. It's had a Kickstarter which was successful. But yeah, so they've thrown out some keys and a demo for Next Fest. It is rough.
We still haven't said the name of the game, so it might be time to do that now.
Well, I did actually. I said it
Did you?
before. Yeah, I
Completely
did.
missed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
For those missing it at home, it is Macabre.
Yeah.
That's the name.
Thank
Not
you
material.
for that again.
Although,
So, James, can you just repeat the name of the game for me, just in case we miss it?
Macabre.
Yeah,
Macrobe.
that's the one.
Macabre. Yep, nice.
All right, so Macabre is like we said, it's a extraction horror game, but it's set in the Australian bush, and you drop into this procedurally generated world, and you have to do a couple of objectives.
It is generated?
Yeah,
I think a lot of
Correct.
the topography is and where things are located on the map are
yeah,
as well.
Yeah. So when you load, so each session is, the map is fucked around with.
Forgive me, I have no idea because I spent 90% of the time dead.
So
Is that a skill issue or a game issue, though, Ash?
a
Yes.
bit of both. But yeah, we played a couple of sessions the other night. It is still very, very, very rough. But there is potential there. I think the way that they've built this atmosphere and this world and the constant nature sounds and bush noises, against these like monster noises is actually quite. It's actually quite terrifying.
It's actually a really impressive example of Australian bush. As far as like an interactive environment goes that says like, hey, this is Australian bush, it fits. It's really good. Like surprisingly, the fidelity of like gum trees, it's very good.
Yeah, and with some nice moments where we stumbled across a camp, but there was a monster lurking, and it's got what's the thing I'm looking for?
Proximity chat.
Proximity chat. So we were all
Radio.
chatting away. So and then this creature came through, and I bloody barried out of there like nothing else.
You
But these
took
two
off.
were still stuck in the tent. But it was just it was just a good sample of what they're going for. I wouldn't judge anything that I've played too harshly. But I think if it can get some good funding and get a good development time, I think it might be all right.
It's the perfect game for early access. Like the getting people's feedback and iterating bit by bit, it will be very much the way to go. But yeah, it's got loads of potential though. Agreed.
It's a spot on one of those games that fits perfectly into sort of like that repo that get your mates together and just chaos will follow, but you'll always be laughing afterwards. So.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's part of Next Fest. I don't know when it's coming to early access, but I think it's this year, but I could be wrong on that. But anyway,
it's probably the only gameplay experience you'll see where you die and you hear a kookaburra laughing at the fact that you died. It's great.
All right, very, very quickly, the other thing I want to talk about is Near Mage. I've rolled credits on this game. This is the Disney visual style, like point-and-click adventure magic simulator thingy from the Romanian developer Stuck in Attic. You play as this, so it's set in Transylvania, and you play as a character called Illy. Well, that's her shortened name. And you are basically enrolled in this Transylvanian Institute of Magic, and you learn to become a near mage. So not like an actual mage, you just learn to become a near mage, and you get all these spells. And essentially, you investigating this other part of the story. So you've got you do your classes and whatnot, and then you go off into this world and you do these other objectives, which is the main narrative. I quite enjoyed it. I do think it gives you a shit ton of spells, right? Like fucking heaps of spells. and you can only use them in certain points of the games. You can't just walk around using. So there's a spell, I don't know, where you can make cherry blossoms appear, for example. You can't just walk into any given room, any given place, and just drop cherry blossoms, right? You have to actually. You've got this necklace, and this necklace will light up when essentially you can use your magic. Now you don't have to use your magic either. You can choose to. So there's a example where you have to basically like change someone's mind, kind of thing, and there's a spell where you can like change people's mind or something to that effect. So you use that, but there is other ways you can actually get through if you don't want to use magic. But there's just a lot of spells, and it's quite strange that you have all these spells, but the game doesn't really give you a chance to kind of use them all. Like there's like 18 spells.
Do you think real mages get to use all the spells, and near mages just have to do a couple?
that could be it. That could be it. But yeah, I think there's 18 different spells. I reckon I used maybe 5 in the whole entire game. Yeah.
Is it just that some of the spells are hyper bespoke and just don't really fit into everyday situations, like chicken and pulley kind of shit?
It's there's so you do you do 5 classes. I think you do 5 classes. You do Earth, Wind, Blood, Soul, or maybe it's 6, and there's another one, Water. And basically, when you unlock that, not spell, but like the class, it then gives you the ability to craft different spells. So you can mix all those ingredients together to create different spells. Like you can make it snow, you can make it cherry blossom, you can make it blah blah blah. Right? Yeah, I just wish it had a little bit more direction, rather than I think they didn't need all those spells, because I just felt like it was pointless. Like I was going and getting all these spells for nothing. But from
magic game didn't use enough magic.
Sort of, but it's not. Again, it's also not that type of game, because it is like a point and click narrative adventure. So the gameplay is minimal. So they're essentially replacing traditional puzzles. Let's just call it that, right? So the way that you use your magic is kind of in place of, hey, I went and found a bone. I can stick the bone up my ass and I spit out this, and it fucking lubes up the door handle, and then the door handle jimmies open.
Strange point and click games in your repertoire there, dudes.
Anyway, I reckon I give this maybe an 8.5. I think. Yeah. I did like really quite enjoy it. That was probably the only knock.
That was your strongest criticism, is just that you massive toolkit, you didn't really get to use many of them?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's got a beautiful art style. Story's quite interesting. Performances are really, really good.
I quickly looked it up. When you said it was the Disney-styled one, I think you put that in your top 10 list for this year that was coming out, and I remember just seeing the list really
you mean the point and click one? I think it was last year, yeah. So
it's a good-looking game, though.
It is. All right, that's all we wanted to speak on that. The review will be up at some point. All right, we've got the big ticket items now. All right, so Summer Game Fest has just passed. Big old Jazzy Jeff has done his thing, but we're going to start. No, we're not. We are going to start at Summer Game Fest. Sorry. All right, James, what did you think of? What's your top level thoughts on Summer Game Fest?
I was sitting here about 5 minutes ago, being like, "Oh fuck, I'm sad I didn't watch the Summer Game Fest thing because we have to talk about it now." And then I realized I got up with you guys and I watched it. That's how little impact it had on me. I think it was a. We can talk about maybe the weekend holistically later. But I think Jeff's thing was bad. Just
Fair.
not a huge amount in there. I think that it is largely elevated by that final reveal. But you know, that was always going to be the case. Like they could have dropped Requiem in a street in a diaper. I don't know where this metaphor is going, and it would have been still generated content, right? But I don't know. I don't remember watching it, and I find Jeff, yeah.
So similar to usually, if I miss a showcase, I can sort of get up and the internet's sort of buzzing about things, and I can glean the vast majority of it just from random comments I found on the internet. This was the first time that I actually, just because I had mates coming around and we're just going to be doing some stuff, and I just sort of went, hey, I'll just chuck the Summer Games Fest VOD on in the background so we can catch up. And I was like, oh, that's why people weren't really talking about it, because it was just sort of stuff.
It's not much to talk about. Yeah.
No.
Like it's not that it was absolutely awful, but just was just games, and like they're okay. There was like, oh, there's a sequel to that thing, and oh, there's a sequel to that thing, and oh, and that guest is appearing in this thing, and I'm like,
It was just
okay.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like, hey,
get
here's a new IP that blow you away and it's fucking good. It was just like, hey, that game you liked, sequel time, baby, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
I hope you like Souls likes.
Adam, do you like Souls likes?
I think no, not really. I think Summer Game Fest has a
Because
bit
you're bad
of
at
go fuck yourself, James. We have a real problem tonight. It has a bit of an identity crisis. So Jeff has all these few major touch points throughout the year. The Game Awards being probably the biggest one because it happens at the end of the year. It's got the actual awards that go along with it, right? We all know what that is. That has a defined identity. Summer Game Fest is this extended thing where it used to be that E3 was the big ticket, right? That's where everyone announced everything. Nowadays, because there's a platform that everyone can use, they can have their own showcases. It's well fucking overdone. I don't think everyone and their dog needs a fucking showcase, but that's just where
but
we
they
are.
do.
So Jeff did this thing where he's like, let's consolidate them somewhat and have like a full week where everyone can fill out the schedule and you can just push it all into 1 week. That's what the news cycle will be. Why do we have Summer Game Fest as a showcase of its own? Why can't Summer Game Fest be the holistic approach to the week? You can do like maybe a 30-minute, like essentially like a sizzle reel of, I don't know, shit that Jeff himself likes, right? Because he goes around and talks to people, whatever. Just have it be like, this is Jeff's corner of the week. Get through that, and then let everyone else have the floor. Let them have a go. I don't think we need this, and I think this particular year was a prime example of why we don't need it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming
I think,
to Adam's Game Fest.
Yeah, it's
Well,
good.
can I just
Adam
James?
nailed it.
Can I just jump
Yeah.
in before? So I got a question for Adam. Where does a lot of these games go then?
To the
Somewhere
other,
else.
yeah. I think there are enough other places where they can fuck off elsewhere.
Like what though?
I
Like
just-
the Future
asking
Games
the
Fest?
room here, is Summer Game Fest still a thing where all the people who can afford to be shown at Summer Games Fest get shown at Summer Games Fest?
Absolutely.
I think
That's that's still very much the case. The Game Awards are apparently worse for that. Like it's a fucking catastrophe trying to get on that show because it's expensive. But like I don't know, man. I think there are plenty of other. Like I spent today catching up on a lot of the other showcases. So like PC Game. Well, that's a bad example. That was dog shit. But Future Game.
That was kind of like where I was
Because they
going,
have
right?
nothing to show, because Jeff fucking hoovers it all up. If you divvy it up a little bit, or just have like 2 or 3 other ones that aren't, it makes no sense to start the week with this big fucking bloated bullshit 2-hour event that's 90% ads. Like, it's been good in the past. We've had some okay ones. I just don't think we need it anymore. Like, thanks, Jeff. You got us all back in the right direction to getting closer to something that's E3-ish. Now fuck off and just go do your Game Awards thing at the end of the year. I think that's okay.
I respectfully disagree, but I don't disagree. So I think we need
Confusing.
I think we need a big one, right? Like a big showcase. Yes, it can be much shorter, and then you can spread things out a bit more. Because what I don't like is we have the Future Games Fest, the PC Gaming Show, the fucking Xbox one, and this one, and the bits and the games are sharing around. Do you know what I mean? Like, why do we need to see Mafia? Like, why do we need to see James Bond 3 times? We got it in the State of Play. We got it in this one, and we got it in Future.
Did we actually get it in this one, or did we get Hitman James Bond DLC?
We got Mads
Well, they
Mikkelsen,
spoke
didn't
about
we?
it. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, like but it was mentioned like,
It's
and
still
same
IO
with-
up there.
yeah.
It's Bond
And,
time, baby.
and there are a couple other things that were just shown. Like I think Mafia got a couple of gigs.
Yeah, it got a few showings.
So that would be
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you need a big one. I think you need
agree.
a big draw card, because I don't think the general person, and I could be wrong, doesn't give a shit about the PC gaming show. Doesn't care about the Future game show. They care about Jeff's show because they know who Jeff is. They know that this is the big thing. This is where all the big things are going to be.
Because that's what they've been told to care about, though.
I
Like,
know,
that's
but-
what
but-
he's.
Yeah.
So you can't have your fucking cake and eat it too, though, right? You can't have,
Well-
here's your big blow off, like, here's your massive showcase, the only one that you should care about. But then he touts the whole week as being, here, I'm helping
It's-
other
yeah.
little guys with their showcases as
I'm
well.
not
Like,
saying
which
we
is it?
shouldn't care about them. I'm saying that we need to have a big one. It can be much shorter for sure. It can be half the length.
2 hours is insane.
It
Like,
is
we
insane,
we were sitting here and it just kept fucking going. I think
Yeah,
we're
halfway through. We were like, "How do we still have an hour left?"
I think, Zach, you and I are on maybe the same side of the same coin. I don't think Summer Game Fest as a standalone event needs to go away. I just think it needs to change. 2 hours is fucking ludicrous.
I would
That is
agree.
insane. Yeah.
James,
Bad.
you had a point you were going to mention?
Oh, I saw a bit of discourse sort of around the idea that Jeff does a really good job of putting a very brave face on the industry and being like, solo developers, small teams, independent teams, people are just out here, bootstraps, kind of like everyone's like, yeah, we've had some hard times, but everything's going to be okay because people just fucking love video games. And this year is the first time that we've seen one of his shows kind of reflect how far behind development has fallen on so many things, because we just got this kind of slate of some really odd choices got added into that show. A lot of very samey games. It didn't feel like there was much of a identity sort of running through that thing. And it's cool that Capcom showed up with a big hitter, but was that the only big hitter in that show?
Well,
yes.
I mean,
Is it a
do you mean-
case
do you
that the
mean
actual
new game?
presentation? Well,
Well, I mean, like, kind of like your big AAA. You're kind of like the stuff that you're talking about with the normal shit of why they would show up for a Jeff Keighley
Yeah,
show.
but do you
is
mean, like,
because
new
they know they're going to get a
announcements,
glimpse at.
the only reason why I say do you mean new announcements is because we got fucking a wanky fucking session with Big Kojima, right? Why was that there? Why we that game comes out in 2 fucking weeks or whatever it is? No, 10
Oh
days.
yeah, I mean, he just
Like-
loves
it
Kojima.
is Jeff's
I know,
show.
but like, do we need to have
Yeah.
like he literally said he did?
Oh, no,
he didn't,
I agree.
He didn't say anything. He's like, I'm not going to
Yeah,
tell you because of spoilers. And then showed off a fucking scene from the game, which probably people are pissed off about. It's just like,
Yeah.
go fucking knob him off behind stage, mate. Like if that's what you want to do. Like, don't wheel him out here with the yellow shoes and fucking do what you got to do. But just like Jesus.
Attacking the dude's shoe.
the
they-
shoe choice is consistently terrible.
The
They
shoe
were-
choice was a highlight of the entire presentation.
They were
It was
like-
I noticed them. They stuck with me.
They were
compared
baby
to
shit
others.
mustard. That's what colors on the fucking box of that fucking shit.
Can we talk about some of the games that were there?
Anyway,
Yeah, let's do that.
all right. So
Poor Jeff. I'm starting to feel bad for him. Fucking hell.
don't feel bad. He's loaded. He'll wipe his tears with his money. All right. What do we like in from this, James? What's something? Actually, no, I don't want to start with you because I know where you're going to go. Give me
Because
something.
you know what
that-
I'm going to say.
Give me something that's not the obvious one because we know what the big
Okay.
one is. Let's talk about that one at the end. So we've got a couple here we want to talk about. What have you got?
All right. Having a scroll. Having a
Okay.
scroll.
Adam, what have you got? If James is scrolling.
Yeah, I can hit you with one. End of Abyss is a game from a developer called Section 9, which is a whole bunch of developers that previously worked on Little Nightmares, which if you look at the game for
Yeah.
more than 30 seconds, you'll kind of understand where they've come from. It looks cool. Very horror tinged. It's a bit more like twin stick shooter. All the enemies like grossly tear apart. It looks very, very up my alley. So yeah, that was a highlight for me.
Did we get a date on that one?
I don't think we got a date. No.
There was a lot of that.
So
There was
yeah,
a lot of-
Yeah, lots
that
of,
was
or
my
like vague
beef.
2026.
Like with the
Yeah.
shows, we didn't get many dates. But anyway,
Yeah.
Ash, what's a game that got you twirling your
Brother?
whiskers, mate?
Honestly, the thing that I came away from that still thinking about afterwards and told all my friends about was the Muppet-like game. If you watched it, you saw it.
The boxing one. What's it-
Felt that boxing.
Felt that.
Yeah.
Super Punch Out mixed with the Muppet Show. It took me a hot minute to really convince myself that was happening in engine rather than being actual puppets because like they are exceptional. But like I'm a sucker for like, hey, let's just take something that's kind of basic and simple, like the formula of Punch Out, But let's just give it a really cool twist by just really leaning into the gimmick and just having everything animate in a weird, wobbly, sort of furry, felty way. And even like that very brief moment of gameplay of like the character getting punched in the face, it looks like Kermit the Frog when he freaks out and he starts going.
Mhm.
I'm so down for it. It's again, it doesn't even have a publisher at this time. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it's announced, doesn't have a publisher yet, does not have a release date, but I'm all over it. And I hope it spawns a genre.
Like
You
the
got
Muppet
frog
genre,
likes, you got strand likes. I want the Muppet likes out there. Yeah.
the Muppet universe.
Oh, do it. I want a
Jesus.
Call of Duty that's entirely like Statler and Waldorf level shit.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'd fuck with that.
Yeah. Imagine shooting a dude, he just explodes in a fluff. He's like, oh, like, you know.
Didn't they used to have that game on PS2 called Furry Friends or Fur Friends or Fur Warriors or Fur... Someone... There's a game like that.
Is
Anyway,
it a Street Shark situation where it's just
Is
your
there?
fever dreams?
Fur Friends. James, what do you got?
Friends
for us?
PS2.
Look, I'm Liza P DLC getting a surprise release was nice.
Okay. Nice. Little cheap one there.
This is
for you.
such a say something nice about your brother.
That's it. Fur Fighters.
Like I've scrolled up and down this list like 2 times now, and like there was like a Souls-like in there that I clicked play on the trailer thinking like, I'm always down for a Souls-like. Surely this will be the one. It's like, oh, are you another like vaguely fantasy thing set in a vaguely feudal Japan setting? No way. So I don't know. I'm good.
Ash has found the fur game. It's called Fur Fighters.
It's
Ah.
a real thing.
Hmm.
It wasn't a thinly veiled, forgotten fetish reawakening in Zach. It's a real thing. Fur Fighters for PS2.
Oh
There you go.
Jesus!
From our
Okay,
good guys
I found
at
something.
Acclaim.
Acclaim.
The Ant-Man in Infinitesimals was kind of hot.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my
you go.
god!
There you go, Jeff. That's a freebie.
All right. I got a couple white boy ones for you. Just plain ass ones I'm keen for. That's Dying Light the Beast getting a release date. I'm keen for more Dying Light, so keen to check that on August 22nd. But the one I do want to talk about, just in a little bit more depth, is a trailer for Onimusha: Way of the Sword. I was glad for this one because when we first got the initial trailer at Game Awards, I think it was, I was a little bit fearful that it might lean a bit more to the Souls-like gameplay style. But it seems like with the gameplay we saw in this trailer, it looks like it's still keeping its own style. It looks like it's going to be a bit more challenging, which is nice. But also keeping that, I don't know if goofiness is the right word, but like oddness that Onimusha's kind of got. And we got the main character got a name, I think. Musashi. There was a Musashi mentioned in there. I think that's his name. And then there was another character towards the end whose name I've forgotten. But it does look very cool. I'm keen for that one. I thought we got a release date for this one, but not this time. But I thought we already had one. Turns out I'm on bloody drugs, mate. So
I'm kind of glad it was just a short trailer. I'm already sold on the game. I don't need to see like in-depth fucking hear all the systems and everything. So I'm kind of
yeah. Well, we also got
board.
this.
You don't have to sell.
Yeah,
Have to sell.
we got this at the state of play. I think from memory, right? Like this was in the state of play.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is what I meant. Like, sure. All right, Adam, got another one you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got one more. Acts of Blood. It's from a team out of Indonesia. That's how you say it, Jeff. It's their first game. It's essentially like Sifu, but it's got a bit more parkour and it's got guns in it as well. It looked real violent, real brutal. I love those kind of brawlers. They're right up my alley. So yeah, this one looked very cool. Very, very cool.
Kind of looked like Sifu mixed with what's that game that you did the review for? It's the brawling one.
Midnight Fight. Midnight Fight Express? Yes. Yeah. It did. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. It's got like kind of the meat in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Looks cool. Looks very cool.
I was hanging out with 2 mates when they came on, and one of them said, "Oh shit, is this more Sifu?" And the other one said, "Is this Sleeping Dogs?" I was like, "Oh." I was like,
yeah, I see it.
If only.
Yeah, right.
If only.
Ash, you got another one for us?
I'm surprised that nobody here mentions terrible name, but the actual trailer was very interesting. Ill. That one that, at a glance, sort of
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like a Resident Evil, like a modern
Yeah.
Resident Evil one.
Well, this one,
like,
Adam and I have spoken about a few times now.
Yeah?
Yeah, being very, very keen for this one for a bit. I
Mhm.
think this is the best look we've ever seen at it. I don't think
Yeah,
we've had
definitely.
a proper look
Mate,
previously, but
The trailer rounded out with the dude drop kicking a zombie baby. Like,
Yeah. That's what I knew
again,
I was on board. Like, you let me
watching
kick
this with
kids. I
mates.
mean,
Yeah, watching this with mates, and literally as soon as I showed the like little baby enemy, my mate just said, "Oh, I just want to kick it in the face," and then the guy just went bam, and he's like, "Sold! I'll be there day one."
it's very the trailer showed that it was very physics based, which I'm kind of down for in a horror game. I think that
There was, if you noticed it, there was a part where like one of the weird sort of wobbly alien,
Yep.
zombie dudes, just sort of deftly picks up, like, I think it's like a wrench or something, just off the top of a table as he walks past, and it's so beautifully seamless. I'm like, I really want to believe that that is an actual clear mechanic in the game and not
Yeah.
just a beautifully orchestrated trailer shot. Because
Yeah,
it's the
fingers
kind of
crossed.
thing that it's one of those things that I still don't see in games is a proper interaction with environment from other player characters. Non-player characters, and that absolute cinema.
nice. James, you want to talk about the big dog now?
I feel like you can lead. We've all been talking a fair bit.
All right. I do, not for me, but I want to give a shout out for KV because I know that if he was here, if he had a voice, he would be here and he'd use his voice to give Stranger Than Heaven a shout out. So
Yeah,
I know
true.
that man is froths. Anything that RGG does,
He would also want to fuck the Ant-Man as well. I just want to clarify.
Yes,
he just wants to fuck,
think-
basically. So
everyone's a fan of Ant-Man from Infinite Testicles.
very good. Anyway, the main the closing, the biggest release of biggest announcement of the night was Resident Evil Requiem.
Hold on, before we talk about the game itself, can we talk about how it was sort of
Ah.
strategically placed throughout the entire thing? That
Dog act.
it really did sort of communicate that, like, hey guys, we are working on something cool, and we hope to show it to you soon. Have a good one.
Ash, the three of us at 7:30 a.m. did not fucking appreciate that. Let me tell you.
I was like, he has said, blink and you'll miss it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I hear you, big dog. I know what you're saying. I'm here for it. And then the trailer started, and I fucking blue sky tweeted, whatever the fuck you want to say, that at first I was like, is this new Parasite Eve? I know, which would have been very cool. But yeah, we got Resident Evil 9, which is Requiem.
Requiem.
James, what do you think? I'm fucking stoked to be going back to Raccoon City. Right? I think it's a cool fucking setting.
Yes. Yeah.
But what do you think of the trailer though? Because I know you got some thoughts.
No, I just rewatched it in the other tab there to kind of like refresh myself on it. The entire back end fucking rules. I like the idea of doing like a post-apocalyptic Raccoon City. It looks like they are full tilting into like grunge horror again, which each of these new Resident Evils has had a distinct aesthetic horror bend to it. And so if this one comes along and it just wants to be like vague emo boy American horror, like yeah, fuck it, I'm on board. Let's go. But yeah, that what's her name? Ashcroft. Grace.
Grace, yeah.
Grace Ashcroft. What are we doing opening a trailer with that girl at her desk being like, I'm a quirky FBI agent lady, and oh boy, look at all my papers. Ooh.
Like, and leftover noodles. Did you see those? Leftover
the leftover
noodles,
noodles, exactly. Get summoned to that guy's office. Yes, sir. Like, ugh. Don't show me that.
Change the soundtrack. It's like a rom-com starting as well.
Truly, yes.
Yeah.
I was talking with my friends about it, and he described it as it's a Monster Hunter woman inserted into Resident Evil, and I thought that was such a brutal read of the situation. Very accurate.
Yeah.
Look,
Same
Handler
company.
needs a
the
new
Capcom.
job. Since Wild came out, Monster Hunter World is abandoned, and sort of Handler needed to find a new job. So there you go.
Exactly.
So-
but yeah, look. I will get over it. I'm sure she'll be fine in context. But yeah, the rest of the trailer, very, very happy.
She was strapped to a table, filthy and sweaty, and going, "Oh God!" So it
She
definitely
was.
took a turn.
Her mum died in there as well, so you know.
Maybe in those very
let's talk about that. But upon reflection, no pun intended. Definitely pun intended. When you watch that trailer back, RE engine, what is it? Fucking Reach for the Moon engine has got a
Yeah,
very
Race for the moon, baby.
it's got a very distinct reflection to it, very distinct sweatiness to it, right? And
Oh,
when
yeah.
I watched that trailer again, I was like, why did we not fucking guess that? Like, you know, I know that we were thinking it,
Yeah.
right? But yeah. But so Grace Ashcroft. So I don't think we got the guy's name from the FBI, but he mentions that Grace's mother, Alyssa, died 8 years ago. Now, initially didn't click because why the fuck would it? But Alyssa
Can you
is
lift up your
actually
Pat? There we go.
Alyssa is from not file. I mean, she's from both of them, but I just grabbed Resident Evil Outbreak file 2, and I'm gonna give you the little synopsis here because remember when they fucking had bits and pieces in the fucking manual?
Oh,
How
I
good's
know,
that?
right?
I'll
We're
give you
old
the
enough to remember that.
They charge
I'll
for
give
those
you-
nowadays. Just ask Nintendo.
So Alyssa Ashcroft, she comes with like she gets a picking tool when you start with her, but her occupation is a reporter, and it says reporting for the local paper. Alyssa has an insatiable appetite for collecting information. Her strong personality makes her a sore loser who often clashes with others, but she'll take care of those close to her in a pinch. So
Collecting
know.
information. No wonder her daughter had so many papers on her desk. It all makes sense, boys.
This
That's
is all
it.
my mother's information.
this part is very cool. So I love that that Capcom are acknowledging these kind of not spin-offs, but like other games in the franchise. And I really hope, I know that it won't, but I really hope that potentially we might get a new Outbreak or even like a remastered Outbreak at some point, because I don't know why they keep trying these dog shit fucking multiplayer games that they have. It's right here, mate. Like, you don't even need to look that far. It's
Give us a
right
battle
in front of
royale.
you.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Get the Squid
James,
guys on it.
The question
Resident
for you.
Evil World. Yeah.
So a lot of the rumors, right, have been talking about that one of the big dogs, Leon Kennedy, he's the main dude in this game.
Yeah.
Having watched that trailer, do you honestly think what we got shown? Because Grace is a was she a technical analyst or something like that?
Yep.
Do you
Correct.
believe that she is the main player in this, or are we getting another character?
I imagine that we're going to do kind of like a Last of Us type thing, where we switch around a little bit between two potential perspectives. I think she gets sent out, whoever killed her mom gets her, and then she gets rescued by a grizzled old Leon who's like, oh, I've seen some shit. And then Leon dies, and the torch gets handed over to the next generation.
Leon dies. Can you imagine?
Huge.
Yeah.
That's a big swing.
It's about, look, we're getting to that time in the timeline, right? Where I think everyone other than Jill is aging. So
Are they though?
Well, not-
do you know why
Chris-
I know that? Because I
not
watched
Chris,
the
though.
Netflix movies.
Last
Oh,
time I saw
yeah,
Chris
right.
Redfield, who was shaped like a rectangle. Like,
Yeah, but,
How is-
but he was getting older. He's getting up there.
Yeah. But whatever
Are we
cream he's
picking up
using, mate, it's
from-
working wonders.
But so okay, so we can't be so we don't pick up from the DLC from Village,
No.
right? Because that has
I
like
think-
a flash forward into the future. We're not doing
It
that.
does.
It
Well,
says
no.
8 years after Alyssa died, which is 8 years after Outbreak, which can't be that long after Raccoon City went.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Does Alyssa die? Hang on. Does Alyssa die
Well,
in
this is
Outbreak?
assuming Alyssa died in Outbreak, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I
Yeah.
think there's a non-zero.
Or is it
chance
after
that
Outbreak? I
absolutely-
actually have to go back and look. I don't actually recall.
She's gonna be alive.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
She'll be revealed
she's-
to be like
she's the
working
one
for
that killed
Umbrella
her.
now. Yeah.
There
You
go,
see, I
there
had to
go.
kill myself to achieve my true form. And then she'll turn into like some sort of slug monster.
Yeah.
Then you'll fucking throw a boulder at the cunt. Oh no.
Look,
Exact-
the real
Ah.
questions are being asked, boys, and I'm gonna throw it out here. Number one,
I'm not
Do we
searching that
feel
for YouTube either.
do we feel it's cowardly that they've moved away from numbered entries?
Well, they have it
Because
though.
numbered-
They've
is it?
run out of ways to hide Roman numerals in the fuck. That's
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
saying it.
But
I'm
they-
saying
It was
That's
the 9.
why.
But they
It
did.
should have been called Resident Evil Helix, and then you have an I and an X. Perfect.
But
Done.
I mean, they did do the 9 obviously in the Requiem thing. So
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was such lip service. It's like, oh yeah, no, I guess it's kind of here, and it's gone.
James, did I ask you this already? I think I might ask you about dropping the numbers. Do we have that conversation?
Yeah, I
on the
think we
day?
talked about it, and I think they're in a Final Fantasy situation, right? Where it's like they are both important for the legacy of the thing because it gives it a bit of prestige and also alienating to new fans. But to be fair, if we're at the point where it's like, oh, we're going back to Raccoon City post-bomb with a character who's a daughter of a character from an obscure PS2 multiplayer game, I don't think they give a shit about onboarding new people at this point.
I don't know. There might be audio logs in the game. You know, you might find some of those papers that she kept dropping around that tells you what's going on.
She does love information.
She
The,
does.
All right.
The other question I pose to all of you is it a Resident Evil game if they do not have some kind of thirst trap hidden in the game somewhere? Who's the Lady Domitress of this game? Have they introduced it yet? Are they
It's
going to
Alyssa.
feel like-
It's
are they
Slug Alyssa.
figuring it
There you go.
out?
That's
You had it.
Leon. Are you shitting
Slug
me?
Alyssa.
To be fair,
Old man
I
Leon.
think
Slug Alyssa.
Lady Dimitrescu was an outlier. Village was an outlier of a game in terms of Resident Evil's fuck factor. Like, you can read into some fuck, but it wasn't explicit in the way that it was with Village.
No.
So
No, it's just because Wesker died. Fuck off, James. Wesker was that for
Wesker was the
generations.
fuck. Yeah, complete global fuck.
Total global saturation.
Oh, good.
My prediction. Throw
Okay.
this out there now. We're going to see what happens next February when this game drops. I think they are overdue another Resident Evil 6. I think that they have gotten too big, too
Ooh.
confident, and I think they're going to swing massively. I think I'm going to love it. I think people are going to hate it, and it's going to be great.
You'll
You
get
say
the
you love
platinum,
Resident Evil
though.
6? Are you 6 fan?
I've truly come around on 6. I platinumed it last year.
Oh,
How good is
there is a
Leon's?
lot
How
of
good is Leon's bit? The opening
It's
to
fine.
Okay, hang on. Let me rephrase that.
You are on drugs.
The opening to
Oh my
Leon's
God.
bit, the opening to Leon's bit in the college,
yes.
in the subway,
before
is
you leave the
fucking
country.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just
Yeah.
kind of gets stupid, but
Kind of gets it derailed. But like Jake and Sherry, fucking fantastic. And that's Jake and Sherry Birkin. Like that's an insane sentence. And that's where we're at with Requiem now, right? Where it's like, hang on, who's the character in this game? And I see a lot of these patterns repeating themselves with Capcom and with Resident Evil here. I think that they've had banger after banger after banger. I think they're going to swing fucking huge and it's going to be real messy. It's exciting.
So my question to you on that one then is a lot of the rumors pre-announcement or whatever has been that it's like a semi-open kind of world.
Semi-open world,
thing.
yeah.
Do you think that this setting of post-apocalyptic Raccoon City is kind of works?
I don't know. I sincerely don't know because Resident Evil, they are paced experiences, right? Like they are designed in such a way where there's an ebb and flow, scares to the action to the whatever. And I think removing that, I don't know. I mean, granted though, RE4 and Village both had semi-open zone sections where you kind of came and went from a similar space. It evolved over time, and that was fucking great. So as long as they puncture it with the correct points of tension, it should be okay. But I don't know. Capcom do make beautiful open worlds. So
all right, yeah. So as James said, it's coming in February. I think the date is the 26th or 27th.
So,
It's one of those. 27, sorry. 27 is coming. So very, very soon. Very exciting. And if you are going to Germany to Gamescom for any particular reason, I mean, you're obviously going for a particular reason, but if you're going to Gamescom, it'll be there playable. This and Only Musha Way of the Sword will be playable at Gamescom. So,
Hell yeah.
all right. Let's move on to something a bit more local. Let's sample the local delicacies here because we got the first ever Frosty Fruits. Fucking, I said that the other day.
Frosty Fruits, baby.
Frosty Games Fest.
There he is.
Which is a bunch of games from Australia and New Zealand were shown off in the very, very first one. Hands up if you've watched all of this. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. I did want to ask that question first because I thought this next question would just, Well, Adam, what did you think?
I thought it was a little bit long, but I think that can be expected from the first one. I think the fine folks that are putting it on probably didn't want to say no to too many people because it's kind of against what they're looking to achieve. I do think, it was a little bit long. And I think if they're to do it next year, maybe a little bit of a trimmed down experience would be better. But I thought I had a really good flow to it. I think they did well to kind of chop and change between genres, and they had little moments where they were just kind of quick back-to-back trailers of like recently released games or games that have demos and things like that. And the presentation I thought was miles beyond what a first presentation would usually be. Like it was soundtracked by a local artist, and all their transitions and things were really good. So yeah, I think they did a really good job from that sense. Maybe just a little bit condensed, I think would be good.
I think you can have the length next time, but you need to have tent poles. And this is not so much a knock on the show itself, because this is the first time, and the affiliation with Summer Game Fest and Jeff and everything did come very late. But I think when you have an hour of, and this is, if you are listening and you did present in this show, this is not a knock on your game at all. But I think when you are part of Summer Game Fest and you've got an hour-long showcase, you need a couple of big ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, And I think that we've got lots of good talent here, and all these games look good in their own right. But I think we need a couple of names just to help elevate it just that bit. Like something like a Silksong, right? Like I know that that's probably not going to occur because they could go anywhere. The reason why I say Silksong is because they're self-published, right? So a lot of things like Mixtape, they're not going to choose where to go. It's going to be Annapurna choosing where to go. Another one would be like Dead Static Drive. I was quite surprised that game was not here personally, because that game has been game's been promising a release date for ages. It was end of last year, and then it was Q1 this year, and now we're fucking Q2. So I think something like that to at least end on, like something to something big. But again, because of their affiliation with Game Pass and stuff that we got a few years back, that might it might end up in an Xbox One somewhere. But that would be my only criticism, if that, and not but in saying that, I thought great first time show, and definitely something to build on for next year. But the length was an issue, not an issue, but I mean, I think it was an issue. But Adam, do you have a title or two that caught your eye?
I've got two. My Arms Are Longer Now, which is a game that I played at PAX last year, had a little showing, and it is great to see that they're progressing well there. Lots of customization options, and they showed off a bunch of new levels, which was good. My main concern was that everything I could find from the game was maybe 1 or 2 levels, so it's just good to see that development is cooking along. I think if that game finds an audience early on, it'll go wild, because it's got that kind of Untitled Goose Game energy to it. So I'm hoping for big things for them. And the other one is Cast and Chill, which looks very, very cool. Very good little kind of, you get out of it what you put in. It's one of those games that you can just kind of have running, and it's just kind of a relaxing experience, or it does have a few mechanics that you can actually engage with, which I think is a really cool idea. So they're the two probably standouts for me.
I actually think James might fuck with Cast and Chill.
Potentially.
It's like a little pixel arty, lo-fi. I don't want to say lo-fi, but lo-fi
cozy
experience. Yeah, well, I did want to say that. Where you're fishing, but with your dog. It looks really cool. I mean, that was one of mine, but another one that I really quite enjoyed or quite like the look of is Key Fairy. This is like a very like monochrome, almost stylized. Like I wrote here that it's a mostly monochrome visual sensory overload. Like if you watch that trailer, it is there's a lot going on. It does look very, very cool. So, and there's actually a trailer. There is a demo for it out now. It is a bullet hell title for those wanting. So that one, and the other one, which I've actually forgotten the name of. Sorry, because you stole my other one.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. Did we talk about it? We might have talked about it. Fuck yeah. Inkeep. Sorry. Inkeep was the other one that I quite like the look of. And this is one where you're running this inn, and it's like a rundown inn, and it's in this random part of the village or the country, and you basically cook meals and serve mail and rob your customers. So it's about, it looks very, very cool. So they're probably the two that stood out for me.
Nice.
All right. Next big one, which we won't spend a lot of time on because we are kind of getting a bit lengthy on this one. But
In the weeds.
Xbox had their own little showcase, which dropped a new handheld, which is essentially an Xbox version of the Rogue Ally. What do we think about that? I know, Adam, you're a bit keen.
Yeah, I'm keen to. It'd be one that I'd have to go hands on with, I think, to get a good understanding of exactly what it is, because essentially it's a ROG Ally, as far as the hardware is concerned, but the OS is kind of the main selling point. It's trying to make it a console experience, first and foremost, but it's also bringing in all of the games from your other providers, so like Steam, GOG, BattleNet. I'm assuming Epic Games, like all of those, it's consolidating everything into one and bringing that into a more console experience. And it gets rid of all of the bullshit like needing to boot into Windows before you actually get to your games. It's just turn it on, start playing games. So it's kind of the console experience backed up by the handheld PC grunt that people are looking for. So it's kind of a best of both worlds situation. And ergonomically, it kind of looks a bit more comfortable than the ROG Ally, because that
it's
thing's
designed based off off an actual Xbox controller.
Yeah. So yeah, I am actually pretty keen to see more from this little handheld.
Nice. The only announcement that I want to give a call out to this one is probably other than Requiem is probably my announcement of the show. Sorry, the show of the fest, whatever, and that is Renaissance. Is that how you say that? Renaissance. I guess that's how you say it. A Plague Tale Resonance. I couldn't I could read it, but I couldn't. My mouth wouldn't give me the words.
I get it.
A Plague Tale Legacy. So this is a prequel, a prequel of A Plague Tale Requiem, nonetheless. Set 15 years before the events of that title, and we actually play as a different character called Sophia, and we're going to I think it's like Minotaur Island, or I think is what it's called.
Yep.
Looks very like Roman flavored. There's like which is super super cool, and I'm excited to see. I think 2 games in the initial, not world characters. Their tale. I think that's enough. I think let's get something new. Let's get a new set of characters, a new setting as such, because it's obviously set in the same world, and it does but it talks about the story of the macula. But we are just getting a different take on it in a different location. So, and it looks like it's gonna be more action focused this time rather than being a more of a stealthy driven kind of game. So I got some Tomb Raider vibes from a little bit.
Yeah, I feel that.
And it's gonna look fucking beautiful because their games do look gorgeous. But yeah, I'm very excited. Anyone else? Adam, you've played both?
Yes, yeah. Cautiously optimistic, because it is a bit of a tonal shift, I think, from the first 2 games. And Sophia, I don't think was a massively standout character for me from Requiem. That wouldn't be the character that I would choose to kind of do an offshoot with. But maybe that's why she's perfect for doing so, right? It's kind of someone you don't know heaps about, so that probably makes sense. But no, I'm definitely keen to see more from it for sure.
The interesting thing with this is, sorry, excuse me, is a bit like The Last of Us, right? Like a large part of what made that story, or even that that whole game, so good or compelling was the bond between Joel and Ellie, right? All those characters. A bit like Requiem and Innocence, like the bond between Amicia and Hugo was what kind of, hid those weaker moments, of
Sure.
the game. So as a AA kind of experience, we've seen these games like Banishers and other things where the storytelling is always fantastic, but the gameplay is a little bit not quite there. I am curious to see how they go with that, because I thought the combat parts of Requiem were, again, probably the weaker parts. So this will be interesting how they go with that. All right, anything else we want to talk about from the Xbox showcase? Another thing I noticed just quickly is no Starfield. I really thought we would get a Starfield to PS5 here, but
yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Just a big shout out to Keeper, just showing that Double
fuck
Fine
oath.
still do weird shit. A game where you play as a lighthouse. I dig it. I dig it like a grave.
Nice.
That game looks phenomenal. Very keen for that.
Adam, you got anything?
Yeah, I got two super quick ones. Keeper was going to be one, but The Blood of Dawn Walker is a game from Rebel Wolves. It's their first game. It's the creative director, I want to say, from The Witcher 3. So it's what you would expect: big open world, single player, narrative driven RPG, fucking hyphenated. But yeah, it's lots of vampires, lots of swords and magic and shit. And the gameplay that they showed here does look pretty sweet. I'm keen to see more from it. And the other one that I had, what was it? Oh my god. Keeper was going to be my other one, but now I've completely forgotten. So, there are no ghosts at the Grand, which looked like it was going to be like kind of a power wash simulator sort of thing, and it kind of is. You're kind of like doing up an old hotel, but then there's like musical elements to it. And I was like, okay, all right, it's a little bit weird. And then it takes a complete fucking left turn, and it's got like supernatural entities, and you're there on like a secret little quest of your own to uncover like otherworldly shit, and it looks real wacky, and I don't really know what to make of it, and that's kind of why I want to play it. So yeah, that was a weird little sleeper hit too.
The only other one which I completely forgot about that I want to bring up very, very quickly is Clockwork Revolution. Right up my alley. Steampunk as fuck. Lots of cool stuff going on. Huge, like super long trailer. To not
It's
get
like
a release
6
date.
minutes.
To not get a release date for that is wild.
Insane. Yep, agreed. It did look good though.
It did look very, very cool. So, very, very British. I kind of want to say, but not British in the sense of like Adamfall British, if that makes any sense.
Very
If you play
British.
No, agreed.
Yep. So yeah, and I'm very keen on that one. All right, let's go to the state of play. And I don't know.
There's not heaps to talk about here, really.
All right, you give me something because I haven't actually watched it other than quick flick through of what was announced.
Flick to Ash, because the main takeaway I think was Marvel Tokon, the Fighting Souls, which was is it Ash?
Yeah.
Is it a 3v3 fighter or a 2v2?
You're wrong on both counts. It's a 4v4.
Jesus.
Yeah, so out of nowhere, Arc System Works dropped a trailer showing that they apparently Marvel versus Capcom. Put it in the bin, it's gone. Relationship ended with Capcom. Now Arc System Works is my best friend, and now there's this ridiculously stylish, super awesome looking 4v4 fighter with straight out the gate some really cool characters. You've got people like Ms. Marvel's got Gabriel Reyes, one of the cooler
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Riders. But yeah, they said it's apparently going to be I'm pretty sure it said 4v4 tag team fighter. So are they? It's not like they're trying to cut Marvel vs. Capcom's lunch so much as just stomp on it. Christ. But very, very cool. Very out of left field. We also got the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which
it's
just sort of a case of like everyone's wondered why it has for like 30 years now. But then in the trailer itself, they showed basically nothing. But at the end, they confirmed that Mortal Kombat 4 is in there. That
we love
crazy
to see it.
Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 that was very, very strange, but beloved by many. It's in there. So, yeah, get amongst it.
Why not?
Very good.
My main question for everyone is what we thought of 007 First Light.
Nothing.
Didn't see anything.
Okay, Adam, what did you think of it?
So we've briefly discussed this off potty, and I had two of these kind of big action adventure. I'm guessing I froze. Pardon me. Big action adventure games like Uncharted kind of style games anymore. Like we haven't had many of those for a while. So I was initially like, you know what, fuck, cool, I'm in for it. And then it didn't have any kind of source to it or character. It just kind of was a bit flat. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping maybe it was just kind of a bum trailer, but just weird.
Maybe.
Yeah, I will play it. I think it looks playable. Adam, I think you're right. The more I sit with it, the more I'm like, you know what it kind of gives me is like, what if Netflix made a James Bond series?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
I'd
it's
fuck with
just
that for sure.
it's a little age of streaming-ified. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
You want to fuck
Background
James
noise
Bond?
game.
Nah, he looks boring. That
No,
is the most
Looks
boring
boring.
looking
Yeah.
Bond.
Okay.
no.
Pierce Brosnan. They should have just fucking made it Pierce Brosnan. Come on.
It's time for more Pierce Brosnan in our lives. I completely agree.
Truly. Truly.
This might have been known previously, so I apologize if this is a redundant question, but thoughts on IO Interactive having the license versus whoever else it could be?
I mean, in a time where we don't really have many 007 games, Hitman gets pretty close to what you'd like if you want to do sort of secret
Yeah.
agent shit.
The reason why I ask that is because, you know, when I think of James Bond games, I think of GoldenEye and those ones, right?
Mm.
Hitman is very different
Oh yeah.
to that. So
Mhm.
that's all.
I think we also had like a decade of like third-person action games that were James Bond loosely. There was a bunch of Daniel Craig, or two Daniel Craig ones. I don't know.
It was,
But like,
yeah.
it's a formula that they've tried over and over again with both third-person and first-person action games, and so I don't. I think it's the wise choice to kind of go in and attempt something different with it. I think the deal went down
Agreed.
before the Broccoli family sold off the 007 rights
Oh.
as well, and so like
Wow, really?
if Barbara Broccoli, who was like, you know, historically just rabid about protecting the sanctity of that brand. If she appreciated whatever IO was pitching, that gives it a little bit of credence for me. But
Oh, okay.
who knows?
Is she? Did they? I didn't realize they sold it.
Yeah, I think Amazon now owns James
No
Bond.
way.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Bezos.
Yep. Can't help himself.
He can't help himself. Fucking Katy Perry in space and James Bond.
Should have left her up there. I will briefly say, I actually thought the state of play was pretty good. I liked it. Nice little array of stuff, in and out. You know, Romeo is a dead man. I'm see what that guy and his little team are going to be cooking up next. Silent Hill F. I'm sad that they're like, oh, it's going to be action heavy. Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But good vibes. Pragmata.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Pragmata.
Capcom's trying to make a Kojima game. Like,
Um,
what could go wrong?
I
Is
got a
this
shout
game
out for Sword of the
coming? Yeah.
Sea.
Sorry.
Do you get-
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Shout out for Sword of the Sea. As far as games go that I had no idea what I was watching, but I wanted to get involved with it, that was.
Oh no, I fuck with
100%
that game hard.
I was like, you
Yeah.
are skateboarding on a glowing sword in an endless sea of sand. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah. I also love the Ghost of Yotai. Yotei? I always forget. Yotei.
Good, he's-
That first trailer being like, oh, does that imply that the wolf is her friend? And then every trailer since then has been like, hey, the wolf is your fucking best friend. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see what they're doing.
Yes. Yep.
James, question for you. Neo.
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
I played a bit of the demo. I think I'm just kind of tapped out on the aesthetic kind of trappings of that kind of Souls like. But by all accounts, people are happy with it, and I'm happy for Neo to go on. It's an overwhelming franchise, but good for them.
Okay. Snake Eater. Second one.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on. The other one is for Adam. As our VR boy. Thief. I fucking love Thief, right? So I think this is a great way for this game to come back. No? Okay,
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think there's a way that you, after the remake or whatever the fuck it was, that
Loved it.
bombed out. Nah, dog shit. You're wrong.
Loved it.
No, you're not wrong. It's an opinion. Whatever. You're entitled to being wrong.
Your dog
It's twice this week for you, Adam.
That was yeah, we'll get to that. That was a proper bad game. I think bringing it back in VR is fantastic. I think more franchises that have died a death should just try doing random shit to see what happens. Because like, fuck, what do you have to lose, right? So chucking it in VR.
Dignity.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Get to explore that really specific Venn diagram overlap. people who still give a shit about this franchise and people who own the specific VR hardware that it'll be released on.
Absolutely.
We made 8 people really happy.
Hey, I'm quite often in those 8 people, so don't you fucking don't you dare. You know what?
Do you have your PlayStation VR 2 ready?
Absolutely not. Do you know what I like about this game? Is you play as Magpie. You know, would nearly get a VR2 for that, but I'm not going to.
I'll send it to you.
All right. Anything else we want to
mail
talk
it.
about from any other of the showcases before we move on to Mario Kart? Because we've fucking been going for ages. The only thing I will say for 10 seconds is that Directive 8020. I'm very, very keen for that to come out in October. So
Is that
that's
an order sequel?
I wish it was. Oh, we never talked about that news, by the way. But no, that's for another time. But
Don't.
Directive is the new fucking Dark Pictures game.
Dark Pictures. Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah.
Sure, looks fine. Sleep Awake, though, looks fucking baller, which is the first-person psychedelic horror game from randomly the guy who did Spec Ops: The Line and the guitarist from Nine Inch Nails.
Published
Fucking
by-
bizarre.
Published by Blumhouse, isn't it?
Yeah, Blumhouse, to
Oh,
be fair, if
Blummy.
you go on the Blumhouse Games website, every game they've got cooking at the moment looks fucking baller. Like they're picking some winners from what I can see.
Just before we leave all of these massive showcases, I just want to say that Day of the Devs was again quite good. I just want to say Big Walk is looking really awesome.
Yeah, Big Walk looks fun.
Is that
If you haven't
House
had a look
House?
at it, make sure you do. House
Yep.
House, people who
See,
made
again,
Untitled Goose Game.
Frosty.
Yeah, I know,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it just looks like a vibe. And I mean, there's one of those times where you're not seeking a game, you're seeking a vibe. And I think in this
it looks
reality
good.
where Discord is going to die an untimely death in any minute now, we can all migrate to Big Walk and just have our online meetings fucking around in a big photorealistic environment as little newt people. It's great.
Alrighty. Before we get to James, 2 quick shout outs. We're going to give Josephina, she reviewed to a T, and she gives this 7 out of 10. Solid. And she says the game boasts wholesome themes of diversity and body positivity wrapped in a layer of brightly coloured weirdness, but its gameplay and story may not be engaging enough to keep both children and adults spinning along. Those with an interest in cooking and singing giraffes, having a sidekick dog, or dog sidekick, and becoming invested in a wacky plot twist may find this refreshing opportunity to turn their brain off for a few hours. Go check out the review on the website there. That is published by Annapurna, ? I want to say. Could be. I think it is. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure it is. The other review we got from Jade Stevenson. We got a 7 out of 10. Jade's debut review here for Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma does a little bit of everything, and thanks to some very complementary core gameplay components, the whole is remarkably cohesive and a good deal of fun. There are plenty of aspects requiring a bit more polish though, so don't go in expecting a masterpiece. Once again, solid. Go check out the review on the website. Now, James' engine's been revving this whole show.
Has it?
He's ready to take off and talk about Mario Kart World.
He's been holding down his accelerator ever since the 2 lit up.
Hey.
Yeah, Mario Kart World. Hard one to talk about, I guess. I opened my review with Mario Kart it's too big to make for a bad game. They have too much momentum, they have too much history, they have too much knowledge about what works about Mario Kart for them to ever make a bad game. Cool. So can we establish from the jump, I don't think this is a bad video game. I had a pretty okay time with it at times. Cool. The problem with Mario Kart World is the world. And I think that is kind of something worth talking about. If we're going to be talking about the premier launch title for a new console, this is effectively the only thing you're really playing on your Switch 2 if you've got a Switch 2. It's boasting more content than ever before, and because of that, Nintendo's talked about, well, we simply had to charge you $120 for it because it's just got so much more content in it. My point is that all the content surrounding the core racing is just it's fine to bad. And that makes for a really interesting kind of new product that's hitting shelves for $120. the basic premise, it's Mario Kart, right? Everyone knows what a Mario Kart is. Kart racer. We've got, I think, more races than ever before, more music than ever before. Like, it is bigger. It's definitely, they've put a lot into this. It's 8 years in development. And the core
Wow,
racing
8
is
years
8 years.
to
Yeah.
make a
This is,
fucking kart racer.
well, it's the biggest one to date. They had to make a whole
Fucking
world and then
hell.
put nothing in it. So,
Like there's
Ash.
131 music tracks in the game.
Yeah, nuts.
Proper big band boost. So
Yeah.
Mm, well done,
Racing.
Nintendo.
Yep, it's racing. They've tried to like spruce up the actual moment-to-moment driving with the addition of kind of like rail grinding and wall driving, which you hold down a button and you can jump up onto rails or onto walls. This gets you into like little shortcut spaces that sometimes are worth it and sometimes aren't. Usually gives you a little speed boost. Mostly just exists to make you feel fucking cool. And it works. I think that the core racing of Mario Kart has been in desperate need of a little vavavoom for a while. I think 8 is a tremendous video game, but in the same way that, what was the Switch Smash Bros? Brawl? No.
Ultimate.
Ultimate? Yeah.
Ultimate.
In the same way, Ultimate was kind of like your zenith of traditional Smash Bros. Design. I think 8 Deluxe is your zenith of traditional Mario Kart design. And so coming into Switch 2, I understand there is an impetus, I think, to start shaking things up. I think the grinding is fun and the wall jumping is fun. I think it's occasionally a little clumsy to pull off. Not all surfaces really track the way that you think they're going to track. And so uneven implementation, but an interesting effort. Outside of that, racing is still very much the same game that you've been playing before. There's still a bit of rubber banding, a lot of item creep. I think that it's. Do you guys find that this is maybe feeling a little slower than 8?
I think it's difficult to say because I played 8 on 150 and 200 for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's difficult to without the inclusion of 200cc, it's really hard to say.
That's true.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
I'm kind of with Adam. I'm sort of I've still been playing most of World at 100cc, but that's only because I'm like this. My child's old enough to play with me. I can't do it to her yet, but it will
Not
happen.
yet. We'll get there. Yeah.
As she gets better.
But yeah, to kind of like bolster up that core racing, they've decided to attach the titular world to it, right? Which is this massive open world environment that they've set all of the tracks in. And so in between races, you can explore this open world if you want to. Races are often sort of couched with intermission tracks now, where instead of doing, let's say, 3 laps on Cooper Beach, you do 1 lap on Cooper Beach and then a freeway drive to the next track, which takes up the time that you would normally be doing that lap on.
Yep.
I think that's bad. I don't like it. And that's where a big sort of issue with my review comes in, is that these tracks exist as sort of siloed experiences for a reason. You are meant to repeat these loops over and over again so that you can find those shortcuts, so that you can find that wall ride that you want to do. They are spaces to exist in that you learn over time. And they look really good as well. And so you want to spend time in them. And Mario Kart World doesn't let the player do that as much. Ash.
It's very telling that the game's been out for like 5 days, 6, less than a week. But people have already discovered a way to bypass the move to the next track online. It just if you do not vote for a track and instead just choose
the random track generator,
it'll skip the like. And like I'm sort of with you, James. Like I'm hot and cold on it. There's some portions like if you go from track A to track B, that could be a really cool track between journey.
Yeah.
But track B to C could just suck eggs, and sometimes it does. It just does.
Yeah. They're like scenic highways, and they're often very straight lines. That's just not particularly exciting for me as a kart racer. And I think because of this also, Adam and I have already had a little spat about this. But I personally think that the track variety suffers because they all need to be placed into one cohesive open world environment. Yes, there are biomes, but they still have to fit the parameters of a space. You're not going to race on a giant keyboard anymore. You're not going to race in a pinball machine. It's just they have to exist within a world, the Mario Kart world. And I think if we're going to make that sacrifice, if we're going to change to this new mode of being, of living in Mario Kart, the world needs to be interesting. And I don't think it is. I think it is fun for approximately 65 minutes, let's say. Well, I'll give it that. Just over an
So
hour worth of
specific.
fun. I think it's beautiful. You know, this is new hardware, and so Nintendo's been able to kind of like take that signature art direction and really ratchet it up. The HDR looks amazing. The environments are very, very pretty and well designed, and there is fun to be had in just like, oh, what's over that horizon, or like, can I ride on this boat for 5 minutes or whatever. There are self-made moments of fun alongside collectibles and the P-switch challenges, which are little time trials. Some of them really fucking hard, by the way, which I do appreciate. I think all of that's fine for like an hour. And then you're just left with this massive open space that you can't play multiplayer in unless you're in a lobby for some reason, which is just a baffling choice. That has gone on to then impact both the pacing and structure of these races, which are the core Mario Kart experience. And so I think it's an ambitious attempt at something. I just don't think it fully works.
I have a
I mean,
question about the lobby thing. Sorry, I'm going to talk over the top because I just got to get this out there, Ash. No, not really, but so explain the lobby thing to me. So if you're in this world and you, let's say you want to race these two guys, right? And do you have to be in a party in the world to then race? So you can't just drive to like a race and then go invite to race. I don't know, like how does it work? Explain that point to me. That doesn't make sense to me.
So you basically set up a room that you get a code for that you then give friends, and then they can join that room, and then you can choose your settings. Everyone, I think, can track from there, and then the race begins from whatever track gets voted for. In the meantime, you can drive around the open world space together, but that's it. So you have to kind of have the overlay of a lobby over the
Right.
top of hanging out
Right.
in this world, which to me is counterintuitive to I think what the world unintentionally does well, which is it's like a very vibrant liminal space. It's odd. It's too serene. It makes me feel uncomfortable at times in a way I find interesting, and I wouldn't mind exploring with mates if it wasn't also like, you're going to pick a track, you're going to pick a track, you're going to pick a track. It just doesn't click.
It's a literal lobby, but it's been dressed up as a massive open world that you can
Right,
inhabit.
right.
But all of the things that you can interact with are taken away. So, like the P switches that James mentioned, they're gone in the lobby space. Things like, I think this question mark box that you can run over, gone. Like anything that poses like
Question
a
mark
regular-
boxes are still there, mate. Let's not
are
fucking
they?
throw out
And you-
bullshit.
I turned
you
into a
get them?
fucking truck, thanks, Ash.
Okay. Sorry, no. I'm talking about the secret switches that are like flat on
Oh,
the ground.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they're still there.
The
They are
objective.
still there.
You can actually interact with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I had to be
but-
shown how to get to the top of a rocket because I'm not very bright.
Yeah, but like, there's no open. Like, it's not like forming a lobby in like Grand Theft Auto and like nobody chooses a mission. You just fuck around in the world.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Without the game constantly going, are you gonna race? You're racing now. What map? What map? What map? What map? What
I'm
map?
sorry.
What
Are
map?
you here to explore the world of Mario Kart World? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Are you trying to balance all
Why?
the way across that bridge? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay.
That's not a race, idiot.
Okay. So what you're saying is you can't explore the world together. You have to basically.
And
yeah,
there's
right,
just not as much. There's not.
no.
as,
Yeah. But the way that you want to do it. Sorry, is what I mean.
You can,
You
but
can't.
it's clearly not intended by
Yeah.
Nintendo.
You have to kind of backdoor it.
not
Sure.
Which,
Nintendo.
if you go back and watch that initial reveal trailer for this game, and they do, like, everyone driving up to their friends' location, you share that
Pose for a
space with
picture.
your friends. Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah. Right. Adam, you
Yeah.
look like you've got some something to say.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've cooled on it since last night when James dropped the bombshell of the score that he gave it. Mainly because I then did what everyone should do instead of just looking at a number and read the fucking review. Because believe it or not,
Fucking
there's
knew that's
context.
what you'd done as well.
I was at the gym, James. Give me a fucking break, brother. But no, I'm definitely enjoying it probably more than James. Probably not as much as Ash because there's inherently a joy that's to be had with playing with little kids that
oh, bro.
are just ramming into shit because it's hilarious. But I think the knockout mode is an absolute fucking all-timer.
Yeah.
I think that is my new favorite way to play Mario Kart. Zach?
Did you just flip Ash the double bird there with that there?
Well, I mean, it's no fun when
Tasmanian
you
salute, mate.
it's no fun when you point it out.
Sing
But yeah, I
it,
think
sing
Knockout is fantastic, and I wholeheartedly disagree about the track design. I think the track design overall is some of the best we've had in the series in certain tracks. DK Spaceport, I think, is my
Oh.
fucking favorite thing that's ever happened, maybe, to a Mario Kart game. But yeah, I definitely think there are a lot of downsides, and the open world is definitely lacking. The reason I'm not super mad at it is because I'm one of those people that wants to play games but never has like the energy to properly start something. So the fact that you can just drop in and I can fuck around in it is enough for me personally, and I know that's not going to be the case for everyone. And I appreciate that instead of racing a certain track over and over to get used to it and to find the hidden like shortcuts and shit, you can just drive up to the track and like just examine it and find all the nooks and crannies. So that's how I'll be using it. So there is a use case for me, but I understand that it's not for everyone, and for that price tag there should be more. So yeah, I've definitely cooled down since last night.
If this
What
game was to
happened
come
last
out,
night?
if this game was on the Switch,
I was outside James's house. It was bad.
Yeah.
Like
James!
I made a decision, and I'm glad that I pulled back, but there was some home invasion potential there.
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
I don't mind your
it's not
sevens
worth it,
when the
mate,
games I
just
don't
calm
give a shit
down.
about.
Yeah, exactly. When it's on my terms, James, it's fine.
James, you son of a bitch! Come out here!
How
Face my
much-
cow!
how much did they sell Mario Kart 8 for on Switch One or Switch?
It would have been
like-
$89.95.
It was,
Yeah,
it
so
was a standard
standard
$90
price.
one, yeah.
So we're talking a $30 price increase here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think I'm less shitty at it because I got the bundle with the Switch, which made it essentially
Understand.
like $60. So
We effectively got it for $50, $60, which sits much nicer, but just...
yeah, exactly right.
Like, I know precisely one person who bought their Switch and didn't get the bundle, and they're immediately being like, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah,
It's a
I
very
have
odd choice.
I have the same kind of person in my life, and I questioned their thought process for sure.
It doesn't make it sting any less. Just because you got the overpriced thing cheaply because you bought the big thing that it came in doesn't excuse the fact that that's such
Exactly.
a massive, gross asterisk. And it
Mm.
really does undermine a lot of what could just be forgivable weirdness.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many strange, nonsensical concessions, and they still have this massive price on it. It's like, okay. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe also got a great deal of surprising post-release support. Like, I mean, that expansion
huge
pass
amount.
was just bananas. So, I mean, do we know if there's a strategy for this game to be expanded upon later? Like,
I would almost guarantee it. I end my review saying, like, I think that platform for them to build on from this point. Just not for that price. I think if you want to charge people $100 for this, you also pass. You say, hey, we're going to be expanding the world as we go. Here you can have like a year worth of free updates.
it needs to be front and center. I mean, like, they're not gonna. I mean, they're not gonna push like a season pass, but they could just say like, the future is bright. Like, does Donkey Kong Bonanza come out and suddenly Donkey Kong gets more than 2 outfits? Two outfits.
Definitely.
2
Nintendo.
outfits. Yeah.
Two.
Penguin gets
Black-
no fucking outfits. What's
Mate,
up with that?
Lakitu has four outfits for
Bones-
Lakitu.
Dry
That little
Bones doesn't even
fucking
get a
nerd.
trucker cap, brother. Nothing.
Yeah, I know. Bullshit.
Everyone else gets swimwear.
I do think the comparison as well, like we are comparing a game that is just released, and I'm not saying it's excusable. They've been working on it for fucking forever. But Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U, and it didn't get a lot of its like proper content until like deep into the Switch. Like it got the Mercedes when it was on the Wii U. Fucking whoopty shit. So yeah, I do think world will be a platform that gets expanded upon, and it does need it.
Maybe it'll grow into a $120 investment.
We'll see.
Maybe.
8 years is so insane to me. I just don't know.
Yeah,
That is crazy. Like when I hear this is going to be a very uninformed comment, so take it at that. But this is my FIFA. So when I talk to you about FIFA and you're like, isn't it the same game? When you talk about this, I go,
no, that's reasonable.
Isn't it the same game? So, but
No,
I do
I get
like. All right, James.
Yeah.
You've pissed Adam off.
Mm.
Ash is Ash. What'd you score it?
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, I don't know where you
God.
sit. I don't know where you sit on the score.
Really simple. Bias because children.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
you're pissed off. So you've
valid.
pissed Adam and Ash off. What's the score?
Excellent. Perfect. Landed on a 6.5 because I think this has a crack at something.
Absolutely. Is that would have to be by far the lowest score, right?
Oh yeah, the other low is an 8 so
Ooh.
far. Anyway,
Oh.
I will say this. I will say this. After I finished up my review and I submitted it to the editor's channel, I poked my head into like a few Reddit communities, a couple of YouTube kind of channels, just kind of what is the general consensus that's forming around this game outside of games media. There are people who are frustrated with this thing.
Nice.
It will not just be me. I think time will be kind to my perspective on this game, but I think people are
There is a
just very
feeling.
excited for a new Nintendo, and that's wonderful. It's not our job to be excited. It's our job to.
I
think.
do feel like Nintendo is
I love you, Adam.
the golden child of games media. Like any
Oh,
first
absolutely.
party Nintendo thing is just like, oh, this is so good. My kids can play it. So
Couldn't help himself. Unfucking
Mate.
believable.
All I'm saying is that his
I know.
6.5 is like my 7.5 because I get to see the joy in my son's face.
Look,
It's
that
not
that
a
may have
valid
come
measure.
across as a direct comment towards you, but it was
It
it was
did.
more of a it was a general comment. People who played Nintendo. It was anyway.
Oh, that makes it better.
man-
Alienate an entire fucking
Man,
audience.
Oh,
children, you know.
Fuck them. Grow up. All right, cool. You can go read the review on the website. We've got to move on to the off topics. So let's get straight into the off topics. There's no news because we've just talked about all the news. All right, Adam, 2000's film of the week. There's your
Hell
little-
yeah, brother. This is a film from 2008. That is 2008. When a Russian mobster orchestrates a crooked land deal, millions of dollars are up for grabs, drawing in the entire London underworld into a feeding frenzy at a time when the old criminal regime is using turf to a wealthy foreign mob.
Layer cake.
Not layer cake. Good guess.
Damn.
No
Does
idea.
it
Yes,
have?
though.
Oh, what's his name? Does it have the bloke who's known? Vinnie Jones. Is it a Vinnie Jones joint?
I don't know. No, it doesn't have Vinnie Jones. I did have to think about that, though, because...
It's not Vinnie
He's
Jones, but
another
it could be Vinnie Jones adjacent. Could be.
Oh, it's Vinnie Jones adjacent, mate. It is sniffing Vinnie Jones. Nothing. We've got
nah,
Gerard
sorry.
Butler. We've got Idris
Ah.
Elba.
Gamer.
And Mark Strong. Nope.
Oh, bro, really, Mark Strong?
Yeah, we got a bit of Tom Hardy. There's Ludacris in it as
No
well, which
way.
I've just
Hey,
realized.
sorry, Luda, big
Yep.
Ludacris.
Mhm.
Tom
Damn,
Hardy,
okay.
Gerard Butler,
That's a
Idris
stacked
Elba.
cast.
It is. That's ludicrous. that
Mark
is.
Strong.
You say 2008. Is Tom Hardy like 12 in this film?
2008. Nah, you've got me.
It's a Guy Ritchie film.
Oh,
Snap.
Rock and Roller.
It is Rock and Roller.
Guy Ritchie. I know like 3 Guy Ritchie films, and that's one of them.
I've never heard
love
of
to
this
see it.
before.
It's probably his least appreciated of his gangster
Oh.
films. But I really like Rock and Roller. I fuck with it.
Gerard Butler.
And it's got a lot of music from the Subways, which are a really shit little indie UK band that I fucking adore. So yeah, big
Oh.
ups.
Okay. 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not too bad. Where can one watch it, Adam?
Ooh, that's a fucking fantastic question. You
I'll
can
answer
watch it on Foxtel Go. Let's fucking have a bit of that, eh? Oh
Or
boy.
binge. You can watch it on binge if you got that, and you can rent it on
Yeah, it's all
the
fucking same
usuals.
shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
All
Get a
right.
physical copy.
Hmm.
You
I'm not gonna
laugh.
do that.
You laugh, but honestly, it's getting so hard to watch movies nowadays. I am actually seeking DVDs of things that I know if I want to watch this on a whim, I don't want to fuck around trying to find it.
Yeah,
Yep.
valid. You're
Mm.
talking old mate Disc Wallet over here, so you're in good company.
Oh,
Oh,
bro,
what
no,
a-
it's not.
That should be my fucking
Good way to
nickname
be.
somewhere.
It
Old
certainly
mate
should be.
Disc Wallet.
Disc Wallet. Yeah, it sounds like a prison nickname you got for all the wrong reasons.
All right. Films we watched, TV shows we watched, all that sort of stuff. Books we've read. Anything for anyone? Adam, you just spoke. No one. Move on to the next person for the moment.
You just
James,
spoke.
have you watched anything?
I've been doing John McTiernan movies. This is the Die Hard guy. So I'm watching some boy movies this week. Hunt for Red
Boy.
October. What's up with
Yeah.
that?
Hey.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't
Grateful.
seen it before.
Now, had you seen Die Hard before?
I'd seen Die Hard before.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
All of the
Yeah,
Die
I'd seen
Hards?
Die Hard and Predator.
Okay. I actually didn't realize you did Predator. There you go.
He did. Yeah. Predator. Don't rate it very much. It's fine.
Original.
Oh my god. Fuck off, James.
Do you want to know what I gave
Jesus.
that on Letterboxd, Adam?
6.5.
Not really, but go on.
1.5 or
2.5.
2. Oh.
It's halfway
Mm.
there.
2.5's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
That's essentially a 6.5 on our scale. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's not
That's
Mario
true.
Kart World, though, is it?
Yeah, well.
It's better than Mario Kart World.
Yes, Hunt for Red
Anyway.
October is a good film.
Yeah,
It
love
is good.
Sean Connery, big Russian man. Like sincerely though, loved that movie. Was very very surprised by it. Had a
Sean
wonderful
Connery
time.
is a big Russian man.
They start off the movie like the first like 2 minutes. Sean Connery and fucking who's Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, New Zealand
Oh,
actor.
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Those two dudes as Russian submarine men having a Ash is gone. They're having a conversation in Russian, and then it zooms in on someone's mouth, and then it zooms back out, and they're talking in English for the rest of the movie. It's just a fun little.
No, you
Nailing it
didn't tell
up.
me you had that.
For the
Jesus
people not
Christ.
watching at home, this is my Sam Neill auto.
What's it
quite
called?
awkward to read. It's called Sam Neill. Did I ever tell you this? And it's
Love me some Sam Neill.
it's written so casually, like it feels like he's in a room having a cup of tea with you.
Get to the last 20 pages, like, oh, I was in a Jurassic Park once.
Yeah, I did a book.
James, are you going to watch Last Action Hero?
Oh,
Oh yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be doing all of them. So
okay.
Nice.
working my way through director filmographies. So
Love it.
Have you seen the Thomas Crown Affair before?
no, I'm so excited.
Okay. All right.
Mr.
That's a good film.
Brosnan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I quite like that film.
Oh,
Okay, very good, very good.
All right.
Anyway, that's me.
Good. I watched Novocaine.
oh,
Oh,
how
yeah.
was it?
Why?
How was it?
Oh,
Wait, did you say
Why?
why? Did
He
you say
did.
why?
nah.
Wait, who said why?
I-
Or
No,
did you
how
both
was
say
it?
why?
Was
Adam
it
gets
good?
to be a hater, but James gets put in fucking jail. I see. How it is with you.
What do you mean why? What's the
That movie
what's the,
looks ass, but I'm open to it not being that way.
fuck you? No, actually,
it
was
good?
actually, I quite liked it. For
Yeah, right,
for what it was, I thought it was solid 7. Good enough. Quite comical.
Where does
Some
it sit on
very
which rating though? Is that a well-played rating or a letterbox rating? Does it
I
have a
haven't
crack?
I haven't added it to my letterbox yet, but it'd probably be a 3 on letterbox actually. So that's probably a well played 7. Isn't that right, James?
Jesus.
Yep. Totally.
Fuck.
No, I quite liked it, and there was some very gruesome, very brutal parts in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
and Dennis Quaid, not Dennis Quaid,
Little Quaid.
Little
Close.
Quaid, Josh Quaid, Bill Quaid. What's his name? Little Quaid will do.
Lil Quaid.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so good.
he
Fuck,
was
I love that.
he was quite good. So yeah, enjoyed that.
Jack Quaid.
Jack
Jack
Quaid.
There we go.
And
Little
I have
Quaid.
also finished watching season. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Get the fuck on Apple TV, dog. It is the best streaming service out there. Shut up,
Fucking
all of you.
share us your details, dog. Let us log
I'm
in.
stealing Anna's, mate. I'm stealing Anna's. She's still in UK. I'm like, can you please log me into Apple TV? But I started watching Shrinking with Jason Segel. I don't know if that's how you say it. It's like Siegel, however you say it. Harrison
Oh, yeah,
Ford.
Siegel.
Really cool, very cool. Like easy
That
watch.
does
Just
look really good.
it's every fucking show is like 90% of Rotten Tomatoes or plus. It's fucking good. Get on it. Don't.
It's because there's like 8 people on that service, and they're all the same family, and they'll go, "We really like this."
Anyway, that's
No, I'm with you. I'm surprised by the quality of it. I keep hearing great things.
Shrinking is just basically about Jason Segel, and he's a therapist, and it's Harrison Ford and a couple others. They run this therapist joint. Yeah, it's quite interesting. James, any comments on that? You look like you got something to say.
I just saw a really dumb picture like 2 minutes ago, and it's killing me.
I'm glad.
Good.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good.
Adam, what have you watched?
I went to see Bring Her Back, the new
Oh.
horror film by the directors that did. Fuck, now I'm forgetting
Talk
what
to
it's
me.
called.
Talk to
Thank you.
me.
Talk to me.
I got you, bro.
Two Aussie blokes. Bring Her Back was fucking fantastic. This movie is awful, in like a great way.
Ah.
It's uncomfortable to watch for like 12
Why do
different
you
reasons.
live so far away from me in the same state? I have nobody local shit with me, but you're just casually fucking
You
gallivanting
guys are
off.
on an island. What are you talking about?
I tell you what, Ash, this will fuck you, James. This will hurt you. I watched it in
You
Launceston.
watched it in Launceston. God damn it!
No, it's really excellent. Talk to Me was a surprisingly good film. I went into it with kind of middling expectations, and it blew them out of the water. But I went into this with high expectations, and it still blew them out of the water. So yeah,
Wow. Okay.
these two lads are very talented, and I can't really say anything about
They're YouTube
ruining
dudes,
things.
aren't
They are, yeah. Yep.
That's
Two
crazy.
YouTube fellas that just went, you know what,
Like-
fuck it. We like horror movies. I bet we can have a good crack at this. And turns out they very well can.
Slaps. Nice.
Ash,
Hell yeah.
finish this off.
I was doing some cleaning and I found a book from my youth that I decided to reread, and it's called My Left Foot by Christy Brown. Anybody familiar with that at all? It was a Daniel Day-Lewis
Sorry.
film about a young boy with cerebral palsy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a book that he wrote. It's a quite interesting little memoir just about him, somebody with cerebral palsy. Obviously, they've got muscular issues, and, to other people, they might think that they're not all that bright, but, everything's working up here. And it's about him learning to write with his foot.
Jesus.
Oh, cool.
Well, they try to get him to write with his hand, but obviously, cerebral palsy is a whole, you try to tell your body to do things, and it's not working the way that it should. But eventually, he just kicks his shoe off and finds he can write with his foot just well. And so he starts writing all this beautiful stuff. And it's a really great recollection of his youth and how caring his brothers were, and like the impressions that other people gave him. I've never seen the movie. I'm sure Daniel Day-Lewis did a great job, but I don't know. I guess I've got it from the source. Like, this is literally his book that he wrote, so I don't know if an adaptation would do as good a job. But now I'm handing it off to my wife to read, and one day my daughter will as well, as a nice way, don't judge people.
Daniel Day-Lewis is
Love it.
known for method acting. Do you reckon he learned to write with his feet?
Honestly, probably. I mean, has anyone here ever tried to write with their foot?
No. But I can
I
imagine.
reckon I probably could.
I can't write with my hand as it is. So
I mean, I was more meaning like, you're on the beach, so like you write your name in the sand with your big toe, not you get your dad's fountain tip pen and slather foot fungus all over it, And on that note,
anyway, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the WellPlayed DLC podcast. You can check out all the content over at www.well-played.com.au. You can go to the socials, Blue Sky is at WellPlayed, and you got Twitter and YouTube at WellPlayed_AU, and Facebook's in there as well somewhere. Search WellPlayed, you'll get the Till Plus. You'll love it. All right, boys. Nice talking to you.
Been a pleasure.
Everyone else, have a great
catch you around,
weekend.
fellas.
Hope you enjoyed Summer Jeff Fest, and enjoy playing your Switch 2 if that's what you're continuing to do. And we'll see you next time.
If that's
You
what
child.
you do.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.